Today I'm leading the show with a conversation on quite a few issues in the polity, and we are leading with a discussion about the so-called fake presidential agency. You will recall earlier in the week, a few days ago, a statement came from the presidency that detailed some of the things that had been in the public domain previously. To join me in the panel today to discuss some of these issues, I have to my immediate right, Malam Baba Yusuf, strategist, policy advisor, and the group CEO of GITC. Malam, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much for having me yet again, Prof. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. To his immediate right and my far right is Mr. Etim, veteran journalist, author, and retired banker. Etim, good to see you again.
I'm pleased to be here.
All right, good. So let's start with what I did say about this fake presidential agency. Mr. Bayo Ononuga, I think on Wednesday, issued a statement and said that, well, look, this matter has been on. The chief of staff, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, was actually the one that blew the whistle. And he said that Mr. Gbajabiamila, the chief of staff to the president, sent a letter to the police and the DSS in October 2025. That's about 7 months ago. So at least that means he must have known about it before that time. We don't know exactly when he knew about it. But I want us to start the conversation, and I'm going to start with you, Malam Baba. So between that October and now, we have 7 months. In your own view, as you give us your opening take, do you think that government, have they had enough time to tell us more in terms of, what really happened? Because Mr. Ononuga's statement did not say how it is that the guy got, this agency got a CBN account, got on the budget, and got a federal secretariat office.
Thank you very much. Another sad, development in our polity. Very unfortunate. And there's no other way to say it as a Nigerian. And I believe teeming numbers of Nigerians that have a drop of blood flowing through their veins, including those denying. And this is one of the lowest low. And your question is very germane. The petition by the Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, went out in October. We're in July, and all we have from government is applying, the plausible deniability approach. You are the public speaking practitioners. Plausible deniability is for government to deny, what is happening, whether it is real or not. But we had a discussion here about the warped nature of the communication strategy of government. This is not about, plausible deniability. This is already, an issue that has blown out, that has blown up. And so the application from a strategic perspective is to do damage control. And the only damage you can control is to face the reality. Bottom line is this. This matter is at the presidential level, not at state level, not at local government level. Wow. And this matter is not just at presidential level, at the presidential villa level. Prof, you operated in the presidency and you know what I mean. This touches the core of governance in Nigeria. And indicting, the chief of staff to the number 1 citizen of this country, commander-in-chief, right? Now, for you to say there were, petitions to investigate from October to date, that all the government is coming out with this plausible deniability tells you that we are very, very unserious. And during this conversation, we are going to talk about the potential impacts already of this. Because within 48 hours, these micro phantom organizations, profile and whatever they are doing will be sorted out by one of the 12 or 13 security and prosecutorial agencies in Nigeria, if they want to do that.
Absolutely.
But the revelations and the data before everybody, both in and outside Nigeria, tells you clearly there is more than they are saying. And the issue with this is the more they talk, the more the issue becomes the stench and the pungent smell, comes out. So for me, I'm highly, highly disappointed with the feedback because, like I said, 24 hours is enough to know the root cause of this issue, to deal with this issue. It appears now they are trying to find a way to kill the story. As we speak, I will talk about the precedence of this issue and why this is not the first time it is happening. But the truth is, the government needs to take a better position than this. Because like I was saying before we came online, even my daughter is shaking her head and saying, what is this?
Look at that. Thank you. Etim, your opening comment on the matter.
This is the most bizarre, the most ridiculous, and the most unbelievable scandal that has engulfed this country since 1960, not 1999. It is worse than ever. It is worse than what we saw during Abacha, and far worse than whatever we saw during Buhari. Babache Lawal didn't do one-tenth of this, and he was fired. It is enough for Femi Gbajabiamila to go, and he should be arrested and prosecuted. I believe he knows more than we are told. And you recall in 1974 when Watergate erupted in US,
Right.
it led to the resignation of the president
Right.
when he was to be, of course, indicted
Yeah.
and impeached. But before then, Americans were asking, what did the president know and when did he know
At
it?
what point? Yeah.
That's the question I'm asking this evening. What did President Tinubu know about this scandal? And when did he know it? At what point was he briefed? Who briefed him and when did he know? How can a fake agency that we are told never existed legally have budget allocation, have office at federal secretariat, met with diplomats and ambassadors, and receive trade delegations, and met with chairman of EFCC,
and met with
chairman of EFCC,
Exactly.
open accounts with CBN, open accounts with commercial banks. Goodness me.
Okay, all right. So to delve into it, I'm coming back to Malam. You had said that you wanted to also talk about some of the precedent, and I'd like you to do that. And in doing that, I want you to, so let's break it down, in real specific terms. That how was this possible? Who and who will have had to collaborate? The man has said, the Adeyemi Matthew Prince. Yeah, I think that's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Adeyemi Matthew. He has said, actually on our channel, that, hey, I'm not a con man. As a matter of fact, he has hired Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who is also a human rights advocate as his lawyer. So in your own view, and then talk about some of the presidents you have in mind, how could this have happened? What has to happen? And you also have quite a bit of government experience too.
Yes. Very well. It is very clear from the position of Prince Adeyemi, the gusto with which he is engaging on this, that, like my people say, idan makaho yace ai wasan jifa ya zauna akan buhun dutse, that when a blind man tells you, let's play throw me stone, I throw you stone, he's sitting on a sack of stones. Adeyemi knows why he's doing this. And this, to answer your question directly before I expand, can only happen at the highest level. The rot in the governance framework of Nigeria is not new. And that is why you can see the pushback the way it is going. And without even going through the technicalities, basic facts tells you the involvement of almost all the arms of government and all the strata of government. For a fake agency to be appropriated for in the 2026 budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, capital and operation, we call it CAPEX and OPEX, capital expenditure, operational expenditure, or recurrent expenditure, approved by the House of Reps Appropriation and the Senate Appropriation Committees and the committees of the whole, and then goes to the President for assent. Don't forget there's a process of budget. Don't forget that the office was already is already operational even before the 2026 budget.
Yeah.
The allegation of over 400 million to be given to Femi by the Abiyamila as advanced, as stated, as alleged by the Prince Adeyemi and all that. Okay? Now tells you the level at which this kind of scum is happening in this country. But now to lay credence to this, when you ask Malam Baba, why are you saying so to the sycophants and speakers of that? Why are you saying so? They say, why not? Presidents. We are here not too long ago. In May 2020, when we have the off the mic saga, when interestingly the current Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, was the then Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, NDDC, and the macabre dance in the National Assembly. When you have the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC probing or investigating an over 80 billion naira scam in NDDC, chaired by, interestingly, yours sincerely, the current Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Ojo.
They're all
And
back.
then when this thing came, and Akpabio said over 60% of the contract awarded by NDDC is awarded to the members of the House of Assembly. And then that is when the famous off the mic by then Chairman Tunji Ojo came. And the rest is history. They asked him to retract. They ordered a forensic audit. Of course, he retracted, but what happened? The forensic audit was done, but we found out later they announced that the document has gone missing. Till today, that matter has been swept under the carpet. Under the same regime, the issue of the former MD of NDDC, Nunue, that brought issues of financial misconduct, intimidation. Yes, Joy Nunue. Raised a lot of issues against the then Minister Akpabio, who is the current Senate President. Prior to the issue, you know what happened. We must give credit to whom the credit is due. Then Governor Wike had to intervene to avert a tragedy where the same woman, as a whistleblower, they sent police from the headquarters to go and arrest her. It was Wike that intervened and kept her in his house.
In Port Harcourt.
Under the same regime again, you have the drama of a professor that pretended to faint in front of the committee investigating NDDC, and that very terrible spectacle that happened.
And that the professor was the acting
CEO, CEO of NDDC. And he was pretending to faint, and you saw what happened. And that is why some of the reasons why, even as far back as 10 years ago, interestingly, is a poignant reality. May 2026, then Prime Minister David Cameron described Nigeria and Afghanistan as the two most fantastically corrupt countries in the world. When our then president, new president, Muhammadu Buhari, was one of the dignitaries that will attend the anti-corruption summit that was convened by David Cameron. That is to tell you how the world is looking at us. Now, to tie this up, envoys, trade envoys, ambassadors of countries were attending this phantom or fake council office and engaging this man. Do you think already there is no security and trade report that has gone back to their country based on what is unraveling now? Do you think those countries already, we know the trust deficit? Do you know how low it will go at a time when they are pursuing our fellow citizens like rat out of the hole from South Africa, from Ghana, from everywhere? So it is not even enough that we are managing insecurity, multidimensional hunger, multidimensional poverty, and failure of leadership at federal and subnational to provide leadership. We are not managing enough that as an innocent citizen, whether it is on the street of Dubai or South Africa, anywhere, you are being looked with a scorn. We have already been labeled as criminals, that the government itself is positioning itself not just to be seen to be, but to be confirmed to be that it is condoning criminality.
Wow.
As far as I'm concerned, the way and manner the pushback is coming from government makes me to feel that should we rethink Nigeria? Because I have that right. I told him my daughter is worried. This is a girl that is under 20.
Wow.
And she's asking herself, And then if she, by the way, I was telling you on a lighter note that she decided, by the way, for the lawyers, my daughter says she doesn't want to do law again. She's already doing computer science in the university. Why? Because of the way and manner the youths are perceiving leadership in this country.
Yeah.
And to learn to tell you, there is no how this would have happened without the involvement of the dramatist personnel as the gatekeepers of leadership in the executive, in the legislature, and the key critical stakeholders. However, there are some key players, I believe, in Nigeria that I call the good guys, that have no power to do anything but to look on. Sadly, they are part of the system. And that is why I talk about change can only come in Nigeria if we look at leadership from the perspective that leadership is a value chain. You can see when a rotten value chain is when the value chain is rotten, this is what you have.
Okay. I mean, very, very, very interesting dimension. So to take it deeper, as I take it to Etim. So there is before Mr. Ononuga made that statement on Wednesday, this matter has been on, I'm sure, for no less than 2 weeks in the social media. And so the allegation came from Prince Adeniyi Matthew that he actually procured
the appointment,
the DG position, and that he made some payments.
Yes.
And that there was a balance.
Yes.
And then there is also the information out there that what happened essentially was that there was a disagreement on what will happen next. There are insinuations that the problem was around how the allocation to this fake agency will be spent.
Yes.
That was how the trouble started. And then there is a story of a Tanimola, who we are told, died in a curious fire incident in an hotel. So the question to you, Mr. Etim, is that why is it that the federal government is not, why don't we have heads rolling already if all of these things have been out there? And like I said earlier, even the president's statement said that Gbajabiamila knew by October. Why is no heads rolling?
That is the most baffling aspect of it all. And that is why Nigerians are asking the president to speak up. Mr. President, what do you know about this? And when did you know about it? Because it is at the heart of the presidency. There is nobody, no official closer to the president than the chief of staff. He sees him first thing in the morning for briefings, and he sees him, is the last person to see him. Prepares his schedules, brief him on everything. Ministers report to the president through him. So how could this have happened? And it's rocking the presidency, and it's involved his chief of staff, and the president is quiet. What did he know?
Well, the statement by Mr. Ononuga is a presidential statement. So
that means
that's our
point. No. This is beyond Bayo.
Okay.
Bayo should no more be talking. Bayo should keep quiet. We want to hear from the president, and we want to see the actions he's taking. One, to save his presidency. Two, to save the country from this humiliation.
But I wanted to also address the issue of Tanimola, the guy that they said.
Clearly, this is how mafioso work. If you are working in between the mafia and another party, and when the matter blows up, the first victim is the intermediary.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. Yes, you are the first victim because you know so much. So Prince Adeyemi claims that Tanimo was the one he gave 400 million to give to the chief of staff, and the balance of 200 million is still outstanding. Total payment was to be 600 million to procure the payments. But that is not the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is that Adeyemi said he was to pay the chief of staff part of the take-off grants that this agency was to receive. These are very grave allegations.
Very, very, very grievous.
And names is mentioning names.
Very, very, very grievous. Okay.
So it's clear that money passed through Mr. Tanimo to either the chief of staff or whoever.
Or
it's likely.
Whoever allegedly, as the allegation goes. So that is the trail the dead guy is the link man, and the first victim is always the link man.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Adeyemi says he himself is under threat, that he's in hiding.
Yeah. You said that,
They want to kill him.
that his life is under
His
threat.
life is under threat, in danger.
But he affirms that he's not a con artist.
Yes, he said he's not a con artist, that he has a letter of appointment. He says,
And the fact that Falana has taken the case, gives it a different
dimension.
yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Falana would not have taken a frivolous case.
I
He
imagine-
knows-
I imagine.
We know him.
There's something that I also want to add before we conclude and move to the next matter. So, if you look at the names of the agencies, according to Mr. Nonuga's statement, it says that there is the fictitious Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, cum Presidential Economic Advisory Council. Now, I can say that the Presidential Economic Advisory Council is not fictitious.
I agree.
I can say that.
also
It's
agree.
been
And,
in existence.
and
I'm
Mr.
aware of
Nonuga
that.
ought to be aware
Yeah,
of
he
this.
should know that.
There is indeed, or there was
There was.
indeed, a Presidential Economic Advisory Council. The fact of the matter is that the Tinubu administration may not have taken it on,
Yes.
Used it. But did they do the due diligence of deleting it? Because I have an experience, and I'm going to also share it. So when we were in the villa, the president in the first time considered delegated economic management to the vice president. So he did not appoint a chief economic advisor. I want you to follow the story. He did appoint a chief economic advisor. Okay? But guess what? The budget item for the chief economic advisor was still being fed. And that office is located in the office of the president. So, even though there was not a chief economic advisor,
Active.
There was allocation to it.
the allocation to it
It was funded.
was funded. And then the journalist then wrote a story, and that journalist very maliciously now said that it was the special advisor on economic affairs in the office of the vice president that was spending the money. But of course, that was malicious, and I think the gentleman, excellent public service man, Ambassador Dipelu, economist, of course, sued, and I'm sure he got reprieve. But the point I'm making is that, so the budget was going
To that
to
office.
that office,
Even though there was no.
there was no. So even though the president may not have appointed anybody, quote unquote, to
Yes.
this Presidential Economic
Advisory.
Advisory Council, the money will be going
Going there.
if there is no diligent approach to remove it,
Very good point.
which is
Very good point.
where I'm going to land. One of the things that we try to do, and we're going to, these things we have to say it
Yes, of
because, we are there. The vice president, under whom I served, Professor Oshibajo, came up with the idea at the very beginning of it. Said, look, we need to change the budgeting system. We should use a zero budgeting system.
Yes.
Whereby every year,
Yeah.
people will come up with what they want
To do for the year.
compared to the envelope system that assumes
Yes.
that, okay, that was how much you got last year.
Yes.
It was heavily
Rejected.
resisted.
Resisted.
It was as if there was going to be a civil war. The way they resisted it. That a zero budgeting system would have avoided
Yes, it
This
would have
problem.
taken care of
these
it.
kind of problems. If you guys understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I totally.
Because everybody will have to come on the basis of
so it
zero.
will weed off.
But so when Mr. Onga said that there is no presidential, there is.
There
is.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that they have properly deleted it. So we can say that we can understand how money
Was going.
Yeah, because
And
I have
diverted.
and yeah,
Potentially.
because I have an experience of where the office of the chief economic advisor was still being funded,
Even though there was
even
nobody
though
on the office.
there was
on the
no,
office.
But anyway, let's. I don't know. Do you have any quick comment before
Yeah,
we move on?
for me, let me land on this. To be honest, I expect the president to do better. We are in an election year. This administration has been seriously bashed for the right and for the wrong reasons. I expect Mr. President to demonstrate that which some of the advocates of Mr. President advocate. That is the right man that is leading and is the right man that should come back again on second term. Mr. President, even our children that are underage are becoming skeptical about the integrity of governance in Nigeria, not necessarily just your administration. But like I mentioned in the precedents and what is happening and potentially the future, that tells us what kind of government you are running, your level of involvement in this, your level of acceptance of this graft or not, Mr. President. We need you to take a position. And I believe as the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, within 1 week, this matter can be brought to a proper conclusion so that Nigerians and the international community will not continue to see us as fantastically corrupt.
Thank you.
Well, my own short line on this is that many Nigerians are not totally surprised at what is happening. First, we have seen dead people being given appointments in this administration.
Well, I mean, even before this,
Even before this,
Okay, we have seen that.
structural,
it's a structural issue, systemic issue.
We have also heard that some people bought appointments.
So that one is rampant. We are hearing.
I know
I
of
agree with
people.
you.
I know of people in this administration, and even in the last one, that lobbied and spent money heavily to be made ministers.
Yeah. Look,
And they were not.
I mean, well, it's just,
So if these problems are in existence in this country,
Should be addressed.
so it is clear that this is a very big case in which somebody was being funded and now he is being denied and thrown under the bus.
what happened?
What happened?
All right, thank you, guys. Let's take one more issue. Our time is fast spent, but I want us to talk about at least one more thing, and I think we should talk about, the terrorists who went to Mecca. So we have the case of a number of terrorists who apparently may have even been sponsored. I mean, that's an allegation, and they made it through our airports. I think it's the Kano airport, went to Mecca, but thank God, on the return, they were arrested. My worry, and I want us to just do 1 minute each and then we close it. My worry is that not only is it that these are terrorists, how come they even pass to the airport, but the people that sat with them, on the flights, the level of the exposure. These terrorists are killers, But what's your take, Malam and then Etim? Please, as brief as possible. We have only 3 minutes.
Well,
left.
quickly, I give kudos to the authorities this time around for flagging it, the DSS on return to arrest them. But I want us to also, while commending them, please, with profound respect, remind them. In 2005, a wanted bandit and kidnapper, Yahya Zango, was arrested by the DSS in the Abuja Hajj camp, disguised as an intending pilgrim who would have gone but for the screening. He was arrested.
That was in
2005, last year, May.
2025.
2025, sorry, apologies. 2023 and 2024 also, for the Hajj operations for those years. Suspected bandits, their wives and informants were also arrested at various times. What am I saying? This is showing us a trend. Of course, I also note and acknowledge Honorable Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Ojo, has come out during the press conference to mention that now they have the systems in place, and that is how they are able to arrest these people. But I'm saying, what about 2025? What about 2003, 2024, 2020, 2023? We continue arresting these people. I know we have a judicial process, but can we please, like I have advocated in the corporate world, a part of the KPIs of auditors and compliance officers and risk managers is not about what they have done when something has happened, but what are the proactive measures? What are the proactives to prevent this? They shouldn't have even left Nigeria in the first place. They should have been dead.
They shouldn't.
But that being said, I think going forward, the countermeasures are for people not even travel. First of all, like you mentioned, the trauma, the emotional and psychological trauma. For those that don't donate now, to see them in the picture, that these were the people that were slaughtering people that were with them. And it also brings down, largely so, the level of respect that Saudi Arabia has for us. And that is why they keep on reducing the quota of Nigerians traveling, which is impacting innocent citizens, around the world. That even now, it is not even drug traffickers again. Even bandits and kidnappers and terrorists can go on a leisure or on pilgrimage. I don't know what they are telling God in Hajj, but the bottom line is this should stop. We should be more proactive, not reactive.
Thank you.
It is important that through upgraded biometric system, we were able to flag these people and arrest them on their return. But the question is, how did they even, in the first instance, have access to our passports? That's very worrying. And that shows the level of porosity in the system. As we speak, a senior advocate of Nigeria is being tried for obtaining passports for another transaction altogether.
Yeah. That's Ozekome.
Correct.
Whose senior advocate title has been
suspended.
Yeah.
So I ask, does it mean that it is so easy to obtain a passport, so much so that even terrorists would walk in and collect a passport and travel abroad?
Honestly.
I said very soon they will be in the Senate and House of Reps and potentially governors. What more remains? God forbid.
God forbid. God forbid. Thank you, gentlemen. It reminds me that even when I was in New York, you have a number of West Africans from Ghana, Gabon, Senegal,
pretending to be Nigerians.
They
were flashing our passport.
But I think like you also said, this guy, this interior guy, we give him quite a bit of credit. That he's trying to wrap it up, but tidy the thing up so that we can be secure.
And action talks. Don't just talk. We talk big, but we act small. Performance is measured by impact, not by events and speech.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Malam Baba Yusuf and Mr. Etim. Thank you for coming to Inside.
Pleasure anytime.
All right.
Pleasure.
Thank you.